If you could go back in time and you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, who would you vote for?
I didn't vote, but if I did vote, I was gonna vote for Trump. If I could go back right now, I'd still vote for Trump.
Okay, so then here would be my question. Do you think that Tylenol causes autism when used during pregnancy?
I wouldn't say causes it. Um, that's like I'd say it's like a risky thing to say. It's not risky, but like what's the word I'm looking for? Like uh, it's like uh, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but I wouldn't just go out and say straight up Tylenol causes autism because like um, it's not
Trump
a
did.
fact that if you take well, I don't think that's what he said. I think he said there's something along the lines of like there's a correlation between autism or it's something like that. Can you tell me exactly what he said?
He also said there were no downsides to not taking Tylenol, which is just not true. Doctors have come out and talked about the risk of untreated maternal fever or fever for anyone who's pregnant, and specifically that has on their health and on the health of the pregnancy.
No, for
I,
sure, 1,000%. They said Tylenol is one of the only safe things. My wife's actually 5 months pregnant right now with our second child. The first trimester of this one was been really rough for her, so she was like basically stuck in bed for the past 3 months, or the first 3 months of this pregnancy. And she was taking Tylenol almost every day, if not every other day. So I completely understand that. But
and also
there's been
like how
studies.
what him saying that gets people to do, because then people think they can't use Tylenol, then they use alternatives, and other
Yeah, I think
alternatives
that's
that they might
dangerous.
use are actually significantly more harmful.
Yeah, ibuprofen's definitely worse, stuff like that. But I do think that there are studies that show a correlation between um, Tylenol and autism, and not just autism and ADHD supposedly. There's been studies going back from the late 80s, early 90s, all the way until the late or early 2020s. So they've been studying this forever. This isn't something new that's just came out. This has been a thing that people have known about, and obviously there's no direct link between it, but it's been something that they've been studying. This isn't new. My personal opinion on it is that it's something that they just released to get us to stop talking about Charlie Kirk's and other things that are going on in politics, Epstein files, and all that. It's just another thing that they wanted to throw out there just to get people talking about something else.
So correlation doesn't equal causation. Just because there was correlation doesn't
No,
mean that there is any type of causal factor there.
I
Secondly,
agree.
there is a recent study out of, I'm pretty sure it's either Sweden or Finland, with over 2.5 million children that they looked over, showing no association.
Wait, say that again.
Yeah. There was a study from Sweden where they looked at over 2.5 million children that showed no association.
No, that's great. That's great. I mean, like I said, I'm not a scientist. I can't tell you whether it causes it or not. I looked into it a little bit in the past couple of days. After that, it came out that he said that, and they said that there was like studies about it and stuff. But some studies say that there is association. Some studies say that there's not. Um, I'd say it's better safe than sorry. I don't recommend obviously take. I would say I wouldn't recommend taking any medication if you don't need to take it. However, if you're pregnant and you have a fever, sounds like you need to take it. I think the risk of not taking it is greater than the risk of taking it. Um,
Hmm.
so in that situation, I'll definitely recommend take it, but I wouldn't take it for something that's like a minor headache or something like that. In that case, I'd probably say tough it out. I think just being hydrated, drinking water is a
Well,
great alternative.
I think anyone would try drinking water before they go to taking Tylenol. And if it is the case that someone feels the need to take Tylenol, right? I don't think we should be like, oh, they shouldn't take it, or like they should just tough it out, especially because the risks associated with quote unquote toughing it out would be actually more harmful.
No, yeah, like I said, I agree. If it comes to like a fever or something like that, where the risk of not taking it is greater than the risk of taking it, then I would definitely err on the side of taking it. But for anybody who's not a medical professional to tell someone not to take a medication is very irresponsible, in my opinion.
Wait, who would you say? You said anyone that repeat that statement,
Anyone,
sorry?
anyone, anyone telling someone not like recommending someone to not take a medication who's not a medical professional. Donald Trump's not a medical professional. He doesn't. It's not his job to tell someone what medication and to not take. So I don't agree with that. Just because I support him Doesn't mean I have to agree with everything he said. Obviously, I'm sure there's things of politicians that you support that you might not agree with everything they've done, and I don't agree with everything that Trump says or does. However, I do still support him, just maybe not on that particular topic.
Sure. So yeah, like the idea is that like Donald Trump did exactly that. He's definitely a threat to people in terms of that in terms of medical health, especially amongst the population. So that's an incredibly important thing to address, alongside plenty of other factors that are going to be harmful towards human health. I guess why would you support Donald Trump?
I think he's done. I think some things that he's done is good. I like his stance on a few things. Um, Whether he might be directly responsible for it or not. But few things are good. Economy's not doing bad right now. Tariff revenue looks good. Immigration policies look good. Border crossings at an all-time low. Um, Stuff like that.
Okay. So the economy is doing bad right now. The tariff revenue is definitely not good because that revenue specifically comes from what's it called people who are low and
Wait,
middle
you just
income,
connect the economy.
along
You
with
think
the
you said
fact
the
that it's
economy's doing bad?
currently frozen. Like they can't use the tariff revenue yet.
Well, using it and having it is two different things. I mean, he's projected about 350 billion in annual tariff revenue right now, where through Biden's administration, he ranged anywhere from as low as 60 billion to 100 billion. Throughout the entire 4 years he was in office, Trump has projected 350 billion annual, just off his first year.
Who
You said
pays
the
that?
economy was down. You said
Who
the
pay?
economy was down.
Wait, who pays that
Um,
though? Who pays that revenue?
it depends. It comes from other countries. It also comes from consumers in America. A little bit of everything. It,
No, no. So it actually that revenue itself comes from American importers, like the businesses that are importing the product, and then the cost of that is passed down to the consumer, right?
yeah,
So the
yeah.
cost can be
Okay.
passed other ways, but the idea is that it's paid by the American business importing the product, right?
That's where the majority of it comes from for sure, and that's the point. It incentivizes American manufacturers to source goods from America. If they don't want to source goods from America, they pay the tax, and that tax benefits our country. So it's whether either you buy the goods from America, which will benefit our country, or you pay taxes on goods from another country, and those taxes will still benefit our country. So regardless, America benefits one way or another. Whether you want to say that the argument that the right likes to make a lot is that it's going to increase jobs and all this and that. You could go down a rabbit hole and that regardless, um, it increases annual revenue for the country, which is good.
No, it would have been better to increase taxes on income over $400,000 a year. We would have increased revenue more than what we are specifically doing with the tariffs, and we would have seen there be still a better progressive tax structure rather than having a regressive negative impact on the low and middle class.
What do you mean a regressive impact on the middle class? I mean the what was the bill he did? One big beautiful bill. I mean he cut taxes on the lower class.
Yeah, but it will disproportionately raise the taxes on the low and middle class because of the fact that Kamala Harris would have kept all of the tax cuts from the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which is what the tax cuts were applicable to low income individuals, um, uh, for income earners under $400,000 a year. And then she was going to increase income tax on income over $400,000 a year. And then Donald Trump was imposing tariffs. So if they have the same tax rate, specifically under Harris' administration versus Trump's administration, then Trump imposes a tariff on top of that. That means they pay more in taxes.
Who the middle class pays more in taxes?
Yes.
Can you explain that again?
Yeah, like
Love.
so again, Harris wants to keep all the tax cuts from the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that were
Uh-huh.
applicable to income earners under $400,000 a year. So if they would have the same tax rate under Harris's admin compared to Trump's admin, and the only distinction is Trump imposing a greater tariff, then that means that they have a higher tax rate.
Okay, but what about the tax cut that just came out in the one big beautiful bill? He cut tax cut it was
That's the Tax Cuts
on.
and Jobs Act. So the aspects that were applicable to lower income individuals were the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, and then like the deductions for like no tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security,
Yeah.
which would have existed under Democrats' policy as well. So all of that would have been the same under the Democrats for income earners under $400,000 a year.
So,
But for income over
Trump,
$400,000 a year, then that would have an increase in taxes.
all right, so from my knowledge, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, what I got from the one big beautiful bill was that there was a tax cut on household income. It was like income under 50,000 was, I want to say it was like 14% tax cut or something like that. There was like 12% on 50 to 100,000, and it was like 10% on 100 to 500,000.
So, yeah, I don't know where you got these numbers from, but if we want to look at the amount that there's a decrease in taxes, again, Kamala Harris wants to keep the tax cuts for income under $400,000 a year. So any tax cut that was applicable through Trump's policy for income earners under $400,000 a year would still be applicable.
Yeah, it sounds good to me. Yeah.
Okay. So then, like, what would be better from Trump's policy then? It clearly is just increasing taxes on working class Americans while giving tax breaks to millionaires and billionaires.
I don't think my taxes went up.
Well, they did because tariffs. Tariffs affect every single one of us. And they're going to continue to cause prices to increase in this country.
So are you saying it causes our taxes to go up, or it causes the price of consumer goods to go up, which in turn affects us?
Both. Because the taxes go up, which causes the price to go up.
I mean,
because tariffs are a tax on imported goods.
so I mean, I'm gonna take what you obviously I'm assuming that obviously what you're saying is true. This is what you do every day for a living. So I mean, I'm assuming
like for example, think of a sales tax. It's both a tax and it increases the cost of consumer goods.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like I said, I'm assuming what you're saying is true. Obviously, you do your research on this kind of stuff. I'm not an expert by any means, but if what you are saying is true, I'd be willing to pay a little bit extra for a loaf of bread or a gallon of milk or whatever, if it incentivizes manufacturers and companies to source goods from the United States. Obviously, to a certain extent. I mean, I don't want to go pay $10 for a gallon of gas, but
so then why don't you just buy it yourself? So then why in the free market don't you just buy it yourself rather than forcing it into existence?
What do you mean by myself?
Yeah, like you could go in the grocery store, choose to buy the milk that's made in America, right? If it's more expensive or whatever particular things you want made in America. And you can specifically choose as a consumer to buy that. But to say that everyone else should have to do that is ridiculous, right?
I don't think anyone should have to do anything they don't want to do.
That's what tariffs force you to do, though.
Well, no, tariffs don't force them to do that. Tariffs force the manufacturers to either to choose one or the other. It doesn't force anyone to buy anything.
It does because it makes it more expensive for you to buy stuff from other countries. That's just the reality.
Well, yeah.
So I don't have an issue with you going to your local farmers market and supporting your local community. That's great.
Yeah,
I think people should do that.
But you still have a choice.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Is that you still have the choice.
But you said you said forcing a minute ago.
because tariffs impose a forced tax.
Yes, but it's not forcing someone to purchase something.
It does because of the set of conditions that environmentally speaking exist.
Not
due to the fact that think about it this way.
It might incentivize you, but not force.
Think about it this way. If I tax something, that's forceful, correct?
Yes.
If it causes the price to go up, the conditions force me to then buy something that is less expensive compared.
You don't have to buy it, correct?
Yeah, you can choose to buy you can choose to buy something else that's more expensive, but there's no other option that's less expensive that existed prior. So what I'm saying,
it's incentivizing you. Is what I agree with everything you're saying. I just don't like the word choice because it's not true. But I agree with what you're saying.
It is true. It is true. And every way I was using it made sense. But if you don't like the word, I won't use the word. Okay.
I just don't.
You understand what I'm
it's
saying?
not that I don't like it. I take that back. It's not that I don't like it. I disagree with the word force because it's not forcing someone. It's incentivizing them. Yes,
it is forcing someone because a tax is imposing a force on the market, meaning that force pressures people to make different economic choices. Those in which are going to be with. Can I please finish?
Yep.
So again, people have a certain budget. They can't go beyond that budget. They can't make money out of nothing, right? They have to be within a certain budget. So the conditions created by the tax force them into a set of conditions where they can't buy other goods from other countries and they can only buy the American-made goods, right?
No, I get what you're saying. I completely understand what you're saying. It's not that I don't understand what you're saying, but like I said, they're not being forced to buy it. They're being incentivized. Whether I mean, the alternative might not be great. It might
I
put
don't
people
I
in a
don't care
bad
to argue
position
with you on this
financially.
point. The way I used it makes sense.
No, I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. I'm just saying I don't agree that it's being forced because,
Okay.
like I said, they're when you say forced, it means they have no alternative option, but they do
How
have an
about a
alternative option.
forced incentive? How about that?
I would agree with that statement 100%.
So it is forced.
It's a forced incentive, but
What's
they're
the
not being forced to You're not being. No one's being forced to purchase American-made goods. There might be a forced incentive, but they're
They're
not
not
being
being
forced.
forced, but they're forced. There's a forced incentive.
I think that's true.
Okay. All right. So then, I guess you're. What's the reason why you support Trump then? Can we go back to? Oh, you said the economy is doing good, right? How is the economy
Yeah,
doing
the
good? Because
economy.
I can show you how it's doing bad.
Yeah. How's it doing bad?
Yeah, so real GDP is growing at a lower rate. The jobs report was so bad that he fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and then he hired someone new, and they indicated even less jobs for the next month, which is around 7 to 10 times less that we saw 1 year ago in terms of jobs numbers under the Biden-Harris administration. Inflation is trending up since April because of Liberation Day, 2.3 to 2.9%. It's about to eclipse the 3% when Trump got in office. We could point to plenty of things. Jerome Powell brought down the interest rates, or said he was going to bring down the interest rates, and said that that's going to risk inflation going up even more. But they had to do it because otherwise there wouldn't be enough upward pressure on jobs. So those are all bad things about the economy
Yeah, I
because of
mean, well,
tariffs.
yeah, it's not perfect, but I mean, I don't think it's as bad as the left wing media made it out to be during like the election. They said that bread was going to be $10 and eggs were going to be $100 and all this crazy stuff the media pushed, and I mean, it's just none of it was true. They said that it was going to be another recession and that everyone was going to be poor. We weren't going to be able to afford groceries, and it's just none of it was true. Yeah, it's just the way I look at it. I mean, it was just whole bunch of misinformation. They said groceries is going to be crazy expensive, and it's not. Um, and yeah, it's pretty much it. I'm not saying it's perfect. I
So
mean, they made it out to be like,
groceries are more expensive, right? It
yes,
is the case
groceries
that
are more
inflation
expensive.
is trending up, right? It is the case that
Inflation is just about the same as when 2.9%. It's about the same as when he took office.
did you listen to anything that I said? It's trended up from 2.3% in April since the tariffs have been implemented. And it's continuing to be on a trend up because of the fact that Jerome Powell said that he was going to put downward pressure on the interest rates so that there would be upward pressure on jobs, which would then put upward pressure on prices as well. It's currently
Uh,
2.9%. It's about to
when
eclipse
Trump took office, it was 2.9%.
it was 3%. The reason, and it went down to 2.3% by the time that Trump imposed the tariffs. It then went up again because Donald Trump imposed tariffs. So I'm talking about the effect since tariffs have been implemented. So it's on a trend up. It wouldn't be on that trend up if Trump weren't in office.
Possibly. I mean, I think it's a hypothetical. You can't.
No, we know because
Well,
we know the
we
effect of
don't know.
tariffs.
So you think tariffs are an overall bad thing?
So yeah, tariffs used at the manner in which they are a bad thing.
So you don't agree with the reciprocal tariff?
I don't think it's reciprocal.
What do you mean that you don't think it's reciprocal?
It's not the same as what they have on us. That's what reciprocal is.
That's why I was asking why you don't think that they are reciprocal. I mean, the fact sheet that the White House released, it's on their website. They got fact sheets that they released.
Yeah, that they didn't even calculate the percentage
Not
tariff
not all
correctly.
of them were not all of them were reciprocal, but a great amount of them
No,
were.
the percentage tariff they were claiming the other country had on us wasn't even the percentage tariff. It had to do with
So
GDP and the level of imports. Like it was a really weird metric they used. It had nothing to do with uh, with the actual what's it called tariff percentage.
so it's just false information, is what you're saying.
Yep. Yep, false information.
Well, I guess I got to do some more research into that then as well.
Yep.
So, all right, well, I'll give you that. I mean, like I said, I ain't an expert on it. I thought the economy at least doesn't look bad. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's great, but I don't think it looks bad. I think the value on my houses went up, so I'm happy.
Okay. The value on your house went up. So you understand that it's going to likely go down because it is the case that people's pockets won't be able to afford it to the same extent. In the long run, along with the idea that the cost of manufacturing is going up because of tariffs. So it's putting upward pressure on the prices for housing, but yet it will still see a decline in the housing prices for people who already have houses because it is the case that there's a reduction in the demand because of the fact that the economy isn't doing so well.
It fluctuates.
The jobs report. That's why they reduce the interest
There's be
rates.
buyers markets, sellers markets, buyers markets, sellers markets. It fluctuates. Yeah. I mean, if it's not a seller's market, I buy another house.
Okay, so then you're just saying that you buy another house. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I mean, if you're saying it's the price is going to go down because nobody can. You're saying that
you can buy multiple houses, bro?
Yeah, I mean, what do you mean?
Good for you. Good for you. I don't think that's like something a typical American can do.
I'm a typical American, bro. I'm nothing special.
I'm sorry. I don't. Do you think the average American can buy 2 houses?
Yeah, I do actually. I don't think. I think that the majority of Americans that aren't financially free are because of not financially free. I wouldn't say. I say not in a position to be able to purchase a home is because of a couple variables. But I mean, I didn't go to college. I joined the military.
Multiple houses? I'm sorry, bro. How? Multiple houses?
I mean, it did.
Come on, dude. That's definitely not average. That's definitely not average.
I wouldn't say it's average. You're right. I wouldn't say it's average, but it's definitely
no. It's being able to buy a house right now is above average.
Well, I mean, you take out a loan. I mean, I'm not like I'm buying them in cash.
Yeah, I'm talking about for our generation. You're young, right? You're around my age.
Yeah, I'm 26. Yeah, I'm 26.
Yeah, like our generation, being able to buy a house isn't even the norm.
No, I 100% agree. I don't know many people my age that aren't in the military that own a house. I'm in the military. I use a VA loan. I'm in the military. I used a VA loan. I bought a house.
Good,
you can have multiple VA loans out.
That's great. That's great. And
so it's not like I'm rich or anything.
Sure. I mean,
my wife's a teacher.
I mean, just being able to buy multiple houses though is not something like the typical American can do. So it's like if it is the case that there's a downward trend in the markets, that's not going to be a good effect for people who are in need, right?
No, it's definitely not going to be a good effect for people in need. But I mean,
because of the fact that it's based upon people not being able to afford houses. Now, if it were a downward pressure on prices in terms of houses, but it's because there's a greater level of supply of housing, that's a good sign, actually. Because now more people have access to housing. If the price of housing goes down, because it is the case that more people have access to houses because there's a greater supply of houses, that's a better sign than specifically if it were to be a reduction in the prices of houses because people cannot afford houses. Those are radically different incentives in the market. Right?
Yeah, but I'm saying the prices
one's indicative of like a recession and there not being good standing in the economy, and the other one is indicative of there being like investments in housing and bettering conditions for people's access to shelter.
Yeah, but the prices of houses are going up right now.
The prices of houses are going. Yes, they are right now. I was talking about the long run.
That's a good. Yeah, that's a good thing. I mean, and yeah,
not
what you're
necessarily.
Saying is,
not necessarily. It depends on why. Why are the prices of housing going up?
Because the cost of manufacturing houses are going up.
There you go. Is that a good reason for the price of housing to go up? No, because that was artificially imposed by the Trump administration's policy.